Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, I am Toy, and well, this is the life. So for those of you who are new to this channel, I do a little bit of everything. It's family fun content. So if you're interested in any of these things, I homeschool. I'm a vegetarian. I'm a first-time homeowner. I just started my lock journey about a year and a half ago. I am a wife of 20 years. I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I'm a home health aide. And yeah, if any of those things seem interesting to you, then stay tuned to this channel. Be loving it all up on this channel. So guys, today is going to be completely a freestyle conversation. I have been very exhausted for a really long time now. Many of you know that when I initially started my YouTube channel, I spoke on the fact that I have lupus. And so I know that that's playing a role in my tiredness. So I haven't had a flare up in over maybe 7-8 years. But I am getting symptoms of a flare up. And so, you know, that is something for me to discuss with my doctor. But I feel like a portion of it is the lupus, but another portion of it also is that as you guys know, I have a toddler. And I have just been wore out. My other two children were not nearly this active, and then also I was younger when I had them, and they were girls, and I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but ultimately my son is very time consuming and very hyper and also very clingy. So I have been dabbling into ways to help myself, because if I help myself, I can better help him and better be, I want to say, be a better mom to him, because I find myself being very short-tempered, and I want to say starting to get into that boat of being secluded, and just being like very easily agitable. And so I actually did dabble, like I said, in a little bit of a mixture of reading, a mixture of videos, and I came up with some really good tips on how to prevent the type of exhaustion I'm going through, and I am going to apply these tips on myself, and I hope they really work. So the first one, guys, that I read up on was about scheduling breaks, looking at being a parent as a job. And the funny thing is, like, a job has a cutoff period. Most people don't do beyond an 8-hour shift. However, when it comes to being a mom, it is a 24-hour job. There is no cutoff period. And I say this, like, people who maybe don't have children may feel like, well, the kid goes to sleep at some point, right? Which is very true. However, when they're asleep, it could be the littlest thing in my case that will wake up my son, and guess what? Back to work I go. So it is an ongoing job. There has been times at 2 in the morning. I have multiple children. 2 in the morning, my 9-year-old has peed in the bed, and it's like I have to get up, change the sheets, wash her down. There has been times where at 2-3 in the morning, my son's diaper wasn't on right, and he had an accident, and it got on the sheets and stuff. So the point I'm making is that the littlest thing could get you right back on the shift. So you have to schedule breaks for yourself as a mom, and that's something I hadn't been doing. I just kind of randomly would take a break when I'm already exhausted. But if you are intentional about it, be realistic about it too. Like, if you were at a job, when do you feel like an employer would allow you to take a break? And it doesn't have to be a large break. It could be something as small as a 15-minute break. So my goal will be, moving forward, every hour and a half that I have accomplished something, worked hard towards something, if it be homeschooling, if it be potty training, if it be making dinner. After that accomplishment, my goal is to give myself a 15-minute break. And so we'll see how that works. The other tip that I came across was having a circle of women, or it could be one that you either have, I want to say, the ability to call whenever you're stressed or text whenever you're stressed. But someone who, find that person who gets what you're going through. I have had many friends in my life, and some of them, bless their heart, they don't understand what I'm going through. And it may be due to the fact of them not having children, because I do have a lot of friends who don't have children. It may be due to the fact that their children are grown. I have a lot of friends who have older children. So find yourself a circle or a person who can relate to what you're going through. Your vent person. And in that way, you guys can use each other to uplift one another in times when you're feeling like just really overwhelmed. A good example would be if you know another mom who has a toddler, or if you know someone who works in a daycare, someone who can actually relate to what you're going through. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that all of your friends will be able to relate to what you're going through, and it doesn't make them a bad friend. However, you do need that one person or multiples who do relate. And so I know I have certain people in my circle who will relate and certain people who won't. And so that's what I'm going to focus on more, is like communicating to them that I really could use those moments where I'm like up to here in stress. Can I call you? And so that's something I'm going to try. Another tip that I saw was calling it a day. So I watched a YouTuber, and I'm going to have to put her information in the description box because I did not catch her name. But this is the thing. She said that sometimes, no matter, despite your best efforts, despite having a to-do list, despite asking for help from friends and family members, despite being just the best mom that you could possibly be, there are going to be those days where either you're not feeling it or baby is just not feeling it, and y'all not coming to a consensus. So in those moments where it's just like, okay, the house is a mess, I didn't accomplish this, I didn't accomplish that, the baby's crying, in those moments, it is actually completely 100% okay to throw in the towel and just say, you know what, this day ain't working. I'm gonna go put my pajamas on, go upstairs, go in the bed, watch a good movie or something of that nature. Like, that is completely fine to just admit or just be content with the fact that I didn't accomplish anything today, but guess what? The good Lord gonna give me another day. And hopefully I'll accomplish something tomorrow. So yeah, that was a really good tip, because sometimes you get so discouraged, right? You're like, dang, I didn't do the things I said I was gonna do today. Like, the baby is just, hey, grown folks have bad days, babies have bad days too. So it just might be one of them days where it's just like, you feel like a failure, right? But you're not. Like, you're just human. So accept that, acknowledge it, put on a good movie, get you a good bowl of ice cream, and don't think too much about it. Period. And then lastly, the last thing that I really need to work on, that I read about, was sleep. And actually, I use the time when the baby is asleep to do things such as a YouTube video, or to meditate, or to do my deep prayers. And I won't stop doing those things, but I do need to limit them just a tad bit, because when he sleep, you need to sleep. And the thing is, without the proper sleep, you're no good for nobody, because you're cranky, you're irritable, you're just not at your best. It is a vital part of life for humans to sleep. So if you're walking around here on 4 hours sleep, 5 hours sleep, and you're dealing with a 2-year-old who constantly is mommy, 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 or constantly getting into things he don't have no business getting into, what's going to happen is your senses are not going to be as aware, and your attitude is going to be off, right? So you're going to find yourself cranky, irritable, and maybe allowing things to happen that you typically wouldn't, because you're not focused, because you're sleepy. So sis, go to bed. And that's actually what I'm going to do. So I hope that any of these tips that I just named, I hope they help me, but I also hope they help you. And if you have more tips, then leave them in the description. Leave me a message. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm so tired. But yeah, leave me a comment is what I meant to say. So yeah, ladies, gents, whoever, stay strong.